This is Eger Castle. Situated on top of a hillside with a commanding view of the surrounding area, Eger is nearly 300 years old when the book begins, and yet still remains in relatively good shape. The castle boasted good design, massive stores of food, equipment, and weaponry, and generally a sturdy construction overall. However, it contained a mere 2,000 defenders, which was tiny in comparison with the hundreds of thousands of Turks which had been charged with assaulting it. Drawn from all corners of the vast Turkish Empire, the army was nevertheless well equipped thanks to the Sultan's never-ending coffers. They carried all manner of the latest weaponry, armor, trebuchets, cannons, catapults, movable walls, towers, and any siege equipment they might need. In fact, this army itself had already defeated nearly 28 Hungarian castles. As such, the Sultan was confident in Turkish victory. Initially, the Turkish attempted to bombard the castle from a distance, quickly turning this into something more like this. However, despite the devastation caused by these attacks, the defenders were usually able to repair the walls before the attackers came trying to get through. Seeing this, the Turkish fell back on their default strategy, massively overwhelming force. And although massively overwhelming it might have been, thanks to Gergely's cleverness, their attacks usually ended something like this. In the cases where the Turks did manage to get to the walls, the Hungarians were usually nevertheless able to repulse them. However, as attacks like this happened again and again and again, the situation began to deteriorate. Both sides suffered extensive losses, supplies ran out, the castle started being annihilated faster than the defenders could fix it, and winter crept steadily closer. Eventually, Turkish decided that they desperately needed some way to get in before they all starved and had to go home. The Turks then made several attempts at tunneling into the castle, finally coming up inside the church, which was being used as a gunpowder store. However, they'd brought a captured Hungarian, Gergely's brother, with them, and he sacrificed himself to blow up the church, the tunnels, and the entire infiltration force. Due to the impending danger of starvation, as well as the demoralization caused by the continual success of Gergely's inventions, the Turkish decided to bet everything on one final attack on the castle walls. This time, because of the wall's already damaged state, the Turkish were eventually able to break through at one point and flood into the castle to engage the Hungarians on their own terms. By this point, however, both sides had lost any command, cohesion, or plan they might have had previously, and the battle degenerated into a crazy melee with no order on either side, and individual people fighting for their own survival. By the end of it, both sides had suffered nearly 80% casualties, and the castle itself was almost completely annihilated.